Hello, 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 everybody. Good evening. This is Friday Night Live, and I am Ebony Vaughn, as always, coming to share with you what I believe is a word of encouragement. As always, I am so excited to be here tonight, another week. I hope that you guys have had an amazing week. I know that it has been eventful. It has been long, but God is good. Some of us have a few moments, hours, or a day or two of rest. As always, I come on with sharing with you my books that I have. I have three amazing books that I believe are awesome. They are awesome discipleship tools. My first book is Fight, which is flourishing in God's hands and timing. My second book is God's infinite imagination fulfilled through servanthood, which is gifts. And then my last book is Pursuing the Heart and Mind of God through Prayer. So these are three amazing books that I know are guaranteed to encourage, and not only encourage, but inspire the lives of God's people. Again, I hope that you guys have had an amazing week. Listen, this has been an exciting week as we watch in amazement and in awe at our future Supreme Court Justice nominee. I know that men and women all over the world are just applauding for her and praying for her and just believing that this will be another win. And let me just say that for me, I am just tremendously inspired by this woman's poise and of course, her accolades, of course, all of the wonderful things that she's done, and for being so young and just being so accomplished. But I am more, in awe of just how she handles herself with such grace and poise and dignity. And I'm just inspired. I'm inspired. By her work. I'm inspired by those who support her and the many great things that so many people have said. So I know that as kingdom citizens all over this world, we are praying for those, those in authority. We're praying for, men and women like her, to really, just get on their posts and do great things. And so I'm just so excited. There's so much more I could say about that. But tonight, my intention is not to be on this live long. I just came to encourage someone. Tonight, oftentimes when we are in our journey through purpose, there's so many stops, there's so many paths and detours and roadblocks that we face. But at the end of the day, I believe that if we believe in God and what his intentions are for us, and we believe in ourselves, we are able through Christ to do all things. In him we are strengthened in all things. And I am so encouraged by that. I am also encouraged by the faithfulness of our God. So often we struggle in our assignments, we struggle in our professions, in our ministries, in our communities, and it's almost like we don't see the end of the tunnel. We don't see the light on the other side. But my encouragement to someone on tonight is to try not to look at the end of the tunnel, but look to God. Look to God and get in alignment with what his promises are for your life. That's my story. I'm going to stick to it. You have trouble looking on the other side, look to God and allow him to be your sight. Allow him to help strengthen you as you go towards that which you don't see and that which you don't know. Look to God. And again, He will strengthen you in all things. Not only do I believe this, but I know this. Why? Because it was my experience. I believe that there were times in my life when I didn't see, shucks, I don't see what's ahead of me a year from now. I believe God's promises, but I don't know what a year looks like from now. But what I do know is that God has me in the palm of His hands. And when we know without a shadow of a doubt that God has us, this is what we stand on as we walk through every area, every journey, every path, every detour of our lives. And listen, again, I don't intend to, and I am not going to be on here long tonight, but I really just wanted to stop by and encourage someone, just to trust God and just to believe that despite what you don't see, when you look to God, He is able to guide you through all things. One of the lives that I did earlier this week, I talked about the importance of being able to assess and look at your life and determine whether or not changes are needed. I talked about the importance of how it is our responsibility to be managers of our lives and good managers of our talents, of our assignments, of all the resources that God has given us. And in order for us to do that, we have to continuously be in that place of assessing our capacity and assessing what we're doing in our lives and determining whether or not it's effective. Like, have you ever gotten to seasons of your life and asked yourself, why am I doing this now? Do I need to do it now? And I want you to really think about it. For those of you who may be watching this on replay, or maybe you watching it now, I want you to think about it. Like, have you ever got to that place in your life where you felt like maybe you were on autopilot or you were on auto drive, and you're just coasting, you're doing all the things that you started to do, you're doing all the things that you're supposed to do, but something isn't clicking, something isn't working. Sometimes it's important for us to be sensitive to those seasons and those periods in our lives when we just need to take a step back. We need to take a step back and assess what we're doing, where we're going, and whether or not we're in the path which we started in. And there are times where we can assess and say, okay, let me just keep moving. And then there are other times when there are slight changes that need to be made. Maybe there are slight detours. Maybe there are things that's not working, or, things that you could be doing better, or, maybe there's a shift that you could make. All of these things are determined by our level of sensitivity to the season that we're in, but also our ability to measure our capacity and determine our level of effectiveness. All of this is in line with journeying in and through purpose, because it's important for us to always assess. One of the things that I talked about earlier this week is, how I was tired and I had to begin to assess what needed to kind of slow down, what I needed to stop doing so that I can get the rest I needed. When you don't listen to your body, then you don't prepare yourself for what's to come or what's ahead. And sometimes our bodies has a way of telling us that you're gonna need your rest right now. And I say body because our mind could be saying go, 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 go. And that was part of my testimony and what I talked about earlier this week, and how my body was telling me to rest, but then there was that side of me that likes to be consistent, was like, come on, keep doing it, keep doing it. But at the end of the day, my body won and I needed to rest. And so there were things that I did not do because it was time for me to rest. And so why am I saying it? I'm saying that sometimes our body has a way of telling us when to stop. Our body has a way to speaking, has a way of speaking to us when we won't listen to our mind, or when we won't listen to or be sensitive to the seasons that we're in. And so that is my continued encouragement with all of you that may be watching tonight. Make sure that you are sensitive to the season and the time that you're in now. Make sure that you're measuring your capacity to determine what you're carrying and whether or not this is the season to carry that. I don't care what it is. Is it a relationship? Is it a ministry? Is it a business? Is it an assignment, a job assignment, a task? Whatever it is, measure your capacity so that you are able to be effective and to experience fulfillment and joy in the things that you're doing. I know that there are times when our passion and our fervor for things could diminish, not because we're not supposed to be doing it, but because we have maybe gotten into a place of not managing it well. Maybe we are overwhelming ourselves with things where we need to kind of take a step back and look at what we are doing. Absolutely. Hey, Nakia, I had to prioritize sleep. So have you have been talking to me this week? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I say this because it's not just about me and you, Nakia, but it's so many people. We don't know how to stop and assess. It's almost like just stop. Nobody is saying stop doing everything that you're doing, but it's really about stopping, assessing it, and determining what you need to slow down on. What is just maybe it's not for this season, but maybe in a little while you can come back to it. Some of us may have this thought, well, if I stop, I'm not going to come back to it. Is that God? Is that where is that coming from? Because the reality is when we are able to monitor and manage and maintain not only our emotional health, but our mental health and our time and talent health, it helps with longevity. But these things require management. So not only does our emotional life, our soul, which includes the mind, the will, and the intellect, not only does there need to be effective management in that area, but it also needs to be effective management in our spiritual lives, managing God's resources, managing his gifts, his talents, managing the effort and the energy that we are placing in these things. Or our body, we have to be good stewards of our body. And for those, and for the women, I could say this honestly, that there are times in my life when I know, what, my iron is low, or it could be for you, it could be something else. And so what does that mean? That means I have to stop and begin to tend to that area. Why? Because it's not in balance. I feel it, I sense it. And just as that is a physical aspect, there are spiritual things that we will sense, and that's why I always say that we need to create and develop a sensitivity spiritually so that we are more aware and attuned to what's going on in our lives spiritually. When God says stop, because of our lack of sensitivity, there are times when we could believe that God is saying no, when he could just simply be saying, stop, not now. I need you to take a rest. right? And some of us believe that ain't no, you shouldn't be resting on the things that you love. And that's not true, too. Sometimes our body needs to recalibrate. Sometimes our mind needs to recalibrate. And it's okay to step back and say, I need to rest, right? And so these are the things that are so important that we just have to remind ourselves. And like always, guys, ain't nothing new about what I'm saying right now. But at the end of the day, I am encouraging you to pay more attention to God's gift. Who's God's gift? It's you, it's me. Take more care of God's gift, you. God's gift, Ebony. These are the things that I believe will increase our longevity, and it will definitely ensure that we are walking in fulfillment and joy. Because guess what? Ain't nothing fulfilling about being tired emotionally, mentally, and physically. It ain't nothing fulfilling about being on auto drive. Why? Because you don't feel challenged, you don't feel ignited, right? You just tired. You know what I mean? Whether it's mentally, whether it's physically or emotionally. So, I just wanted to continue to talk about that because I believe it's important. Hey, you know what? I could be first partaker of this. As I talked about, I am first partaker of this. As I talked about earlier this week, I got a lot going on just like everybody else. And at the end of the day, I have to make sure that I am managing what I have so that I am effective, so that I am productive, so that I am producing what God is intending for me to produce in this season. Listen, I want to be a producer. Not only do I want to demonstrate power, not only do I want to be in line with the plan of God and be obedient to God, but I also want to be producive. I'm producing. I want to be productive in the things that I am to do in my life. How many of us want that? We just want to be productive, get things done, set and maintain and establish priorities and what meet our goals, not only the goals that we establish for ourselves personally, but those goals that require other helping other people and require your availability to other people. These are the things that we, in order for us to be effective in them, we have to be great managers of ourselves and the gift which is us, that God has placed on this earth. Listen, it's short and sweet tonight. I don't have a whole bunch, guys. I just wanted to bring encouragement. Take care of yourself. Be a better manager. Be a better monitor of God's gift, which is you. God bless you, everyone, and have an amazing weekend.